Tom's got his coffee.
Got my coffee.
I got my Tonka.
Got my Oreos.
We got Glenn Hallstrom with us.
This is the vlog of many things. Glenn, happy to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Eric, Thomas, everybody, how you all doing?
Hey.
Doing.
Oogly. We're high tech tonight. We have chat showing up automatically on the right hand, just like 10 Cars Tavern.
Nice.
Be still, my beating heart.
It's working. Everybody's showing up automatically.
And listen, my experience is that when you got the chat embedded on the screen, it is, I don't know what the percentage more active is. It's certainly more active because you don't need me to put stuff up or Don or somebody to put stuff up on the screen so people can see it. It's
I'm not running this. I'd have to wear my glasses.
Well,
It's a huge time saver.
I just lean in.
Oh,
Ugly says dog vlog because of the Dalmatian, not Dalmatian. The
oh yeah,
dachshund.
we have another guest besides Glenn. We have what's the dog's name?
Anka the Dachshund. Yes, it's you. You're looking really awesome. But if you got picked up because you just wanted to be part of this, and now you're like, I just want to sleep. So if you've ever had a Dachshund, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, but I did have a Volkswagen.
Not quite the same. Although it's an old Volkswagen, it probably went to sleep.
It's probably buried by now.
Well, it's been quite the week.
It certainly has.
Vitus, Fugly, Skillforge, Rod, how you all doing? Oh,
Hey, folks.
Yes.
Eric, Tom, Glenn, where should we begin?
I guess I would say we could begin at the beginning, but that would just be too long a story to tell.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
Sum up. Don't start at the
Imagine ancient Greece.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't want to get put down. Okay. You just lay
Well, we'll handle the elephant in the room initially so we can move on to happier things. How's that?
Yes.
All right.
All right. As we all know, and those of you who don't know, Justin Lanasa, the Ninja Hobby Shop Museum, has settled with Wizards of the Coast. They did a stipulated dismissal with prejudice, with everybody supposedly paying the legal fees. Interesting. Because WOTC in Lanasa's new TSR bankruptcy filing, they showed that they had almost $1 million in legal fees, probably touching $1 million by now.
Oh yeah, I would guess that easily.
Yeah.
So a lot of what could be, what could have happened. Couple keys takeaways that I get is one, with prejudice, which means even if they had a side agreement with him and he violated that agreement, they couldn't bring the lawsuit back. I did find that out today.
Okay.
So no matter what, it's done. But the timing of everything is interesting to me, guys. Announced DHSM closes. He shuts it down. He makes a very good effort to make sure that he's letting people know the stuff that was donated is going to the museum in Lake Geneva.
Right.
He shuts it down, puts it up for sale, but instead of $5 million, now he wants what, $950?
Something like it's under $1 million. Yeah.
It's under, just shy of $1 million. What do you guys think? Connected some way?
Well,
Go ahead.
I would say. Oh, sorry, Eric.
No, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I would say that in light of past performance, because past behavior is a good indicator of present and future behavior, that when he ran that little Kickstarter to raise money to pay for the legal thing, he was actually raising the same amount of money that he had a judgment against him from the state of North Carolina for his tax evasion.
Yeah.
For his
sales tax and such.
Yeah, that he had failed to pay, and so that was their final judgment. You owe $20,000, and he was trying to raise $20,000 for the legal fees to fight against WOTC,
which, as of today, I checked, is still pending, not paid.
Still pending, not paid. I think the $950 is probably the number that he agreed to pay based off of past performance, I would guess that's the number he agreed to pay WOTC.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, but if he doesn't pay it, they can't take him back to it. They can't reverse the stipulated.
well,
dismissal.
no, they can't. But and listen, this is going to be spitballing, folks. So if we spitball, this is theory.
This is all theory. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be that there's a separate agreement that there's an agreement that certain things will be done.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
it might be separate. And the reason why I say that is because I believe those pesky orcs and those pesky goblins have been removed from sale.
Mm-hmm.
So and also OSR Games has that LLC has been kapoofed.
Yeah. Boom.
So these aren't things that, listen, if these were things that I was publishing and I was making any kind of money on it, I would not pull the plug. That's just me. I mean, maybe somebody else is just saying, I'm done with this, and I'm taking my ball and going home. That could be it too. I doubt it, but could be.
Well, the ghost of OSR on Twitter,
Ghost of TSR, not OSR.
the ghost of totally stupid rejects, has promised that new gaming companies, plural, will be brought out by super secret owners with, some sort of super secret handshake. And, I don't know. I mean, do you really think that the individual we're discussing that I'm just not going to name would share a company, share control of a company with another owner? I find that hard to believe.
That's it right there. That was posted
Hold
today.
on. Let me, Ben, do you want to do the dramatic reading of this? Since you are the professional.
Absolutely. Lies and rumors by Tinkarp's Rag Channel. No money given to big company losers. Nerve and new game companies will blossom, as opposed to blossom, with new secret owners.
Ooh.
Secret handshake, too.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that interesting, though? Isn't that interesting? With new secret owners.
Plural.
Yes.
And they're blossoming.
And since we're just talking theory here, again, I am not saying that this is anything factual. It's just a theory. Deinhardt on his channel 2 days ago posts that he has a new venture pending for an excellent new game product that is top secret.
Really?
The plot.
Yes.
All right. So, oh man, I left my Magic 8-Ball home back in New York. I would have given that thing a shake, and I would have asked, did we find an unpublished Jim Ward RPG? Shaky, 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 shaky.
Answer
No,
hazy,
no.
ask later.
Yeah, what it'll be an unpublished Gary Gygax adventure they found in the floorboards underneath his office.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the unfound works, which was it the Unfound Realms or something like that? It was one of the stupid things out there. But these unpublished works, the ones that are coming up are things that have been known about by those that know for the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Nothing unknown, totally unknown, is going to be parsed out through this fiasco. So,
well, Jim Wampler says here that those pesky goblins are still appear to be on for sale on Amazon.
oh, all right.
Buy them now.
Yeah, I had heard that they were taken down, or maybe just the orcs. I don't know, but we shall see. Maybe they're still up, but who be selling them, right? Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum is gone. TSR is gone. OSR Games is gone. So you're muted.
Yeah. Those pesky goblins still for sale on Amazon.
Yes, but Let me pull his ISBN and do a BRC search on it.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun,
All right.
dun, dun.
But see, this is what's interesting about it. When I run a back end through Boker,
Okay.
the publisher is not TSR Hobbies or DHSM. He's listed as the publisher.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what makes it really, really interesting is the current Boker My Identifiers cover, which matches Amazon, has OSR Games as the label on the book.
Ah, interesting.
So OSR Games is on the front of those pesky goblins,
That is correct.
with Justin Lanasa, though, listed as the publisher. And the ISBN is an Amazon issued ISBN.
Okay.
So, but those pesky orcs have been removed, and I know why. Because the old Boker record for those pesky orcs I'm looking at right now shows active still, but it's listed to Adamantite Games. So he took those pesky orcs off of Amazon, I imagine. Let me go pull it.
Folks, if you don't have a scorecard, if you have not been keeping a scorecard, it might be too late to start.
My scorecard's been peed on, so tell me all.
All right, because there have been so many swaps, changes, shuffles that I don't think many courts could follow this, let alone anybody else. I know Don can, because we know Don has his spider. But if you don't keeping a scorecard for this, my heart goes out to you.
It's getting big too.
Yeah, that
It's starting to get very confusing.
Oh, it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm. But
I believe.
And Jeff Leeson is, from everything I've heard, is now out of house and home. So,
well, when you believe in a dream and it turns into a nightmare.
Yep.
But if your eyes were open at the beginning, you might have seen the nightmare's potential anyway.
mm-hmm.
I wish I had more. I have empathy for Duck. I'll be honest, my sympathy is short.
Empathy, yes, because I know some back end things, but sympathy is very lacking for him because he's been told by more than one person and warned. And he admitted it to me in email when I warned him back in 2022. And he came back at me and flat out told me he could not wait to scrape the shite of TSR off his shoes. And that he thought that he was going to go ahead and go to GoFundMe and buy the DHSM when WOTC took it over. So, it's like it's like the Führer bunker in May of 1945. It's like all the freaking generals and everything are all colluding against each other, and Hitler's in there screaming at the walls, and it's like plans within plans within plans, and it's like none of them, every single one of them ended up in a burn pit.
Yeah.
David, how you doing? Scott Mulder, hi. Diana.
David, 50 lashes with a wet noodle. You should have been here on time. I'm sorry. Tell your son to stop fucking your cars up. You'll be here on time next time.
So we'll do the proverbial toilet flush.
There we go.
Yep. And what's next in line?
What is
There's some changes and shakeups at WOTC.
Yes, there is. There's some layoffs, correct? Eric, you were talking about it.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, if you've been a follower of WOTC, and I'm only laughing because I care. All right, maybe not. But these layoffs of WOTC have been going on for the better part of a decade. All right, it used to be blog fodder to me to talk about me reading the privy water at the tavern and making predictions for the new year. And it was always, I knew early November I could predict that in the next few weeks WOTC would be laying off more people. Now, 5e is releasing. Hasbro is trimming more fat. And from what I read, they bragged about their profits, but they also bragged about the fact that they are downsizing yet again. And euphemism, downsizing is a euphemism for layoffs. We're downsizing. It's not like being on a diet, okay? You're not shedding pounds. You're shedding employees. You're shedding workers. You're shedding salary. You could say you're shedding obligations.
But what departments?
Social media. Because, they worked that so well.
That's the easiest thing for them to cut.
That's what we know. I know on EN World, the number 2 guy in our social media liaison unit was talking about, he was just informed that he was being let go. And apparently there's 3 or 4 others. The article didn't name them, so I don't know.
Aren't they laying Eric off? Aren't they laying people off, Eric, a little soon? Usually they wait around till Christmas to make it extra special.
Well, usually they wait an extra 3 to 4 weeks. Usually it's right around Thanksgiving, so you have that time to fuck up 2 holidays.
Yeah,
or 3 if you count New Year's.
Yeah.
If you really want to pick.
Right now it's boo, you're fired.
Yeah, boo, you're fired. Yeah, this is to ruin people's Halloween. You know that candy you're going to give out?
You better save it.
Yeah, you better hoard it like you're a fucking chipmunk, because you might need it to make your daily calorie numbers for the next few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be honest, they're also taking people like Chris Perkins and apparently promoting them they're giving him an upwards promotion. This is what I understand.
Well, real quick, for those who don't know, Chris Perkins is the ex head of development, head of whatever you want to call it, of the Dungeon Master Guide writing.
Right, and he was like the head developer for 5e 2024, and he's been with I think he's the longest tenured employee at WOTC at this point, with 1 or 2 exceptions of people like Steve Marsh.
Yeah.
But for people that's in management, he has survived many a purge. And as somebody who has watched these purges happen on a governmental level, usually you survive these purges, and I don't know any of these things for a fact. I'm just in this case, but usually you survive purges like this by making sure you outshine others and you highlight the deficiencies of others. So
it's called ass kissing.
Yeah, I was trying to be polite.
Okay.
So apparently, though, he's done such a great job. They're promoting him to a position which isn't
head ass kisser.
It isn't
pretty good.
Daily. It isn't actual influence and control over the rules.
They should make that a position.
I'm sure they call it something like
HAK, head ass kisser.
Chief Operating Officer. I mean, there's a lot of things they can make it.
True.
Didn't TSR have a chief operating officer at one time?
A COO? I'm not sure they had a CO.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Rod says Chris Perkins has been there since the 80s. I do think I remembered his name from when I went to my one Gen Con in 93. WOTC has just posted a fake designer position 2 weeks ago. And usually, folks, when I'm home, I do tend to check WOTC's LinkedIn once or twice a week to see what new positions are popping up. Not that I can make predictions as to whose job is at risk, but just to watch them pay executive role more.
The reach around officer. I love it. That's a good title.
The reach around. Foogly, I salute you, but with ginger beer. So it's a non-alcoholic salute, but cheers.
You're not drinking alcohol tonight?
Oh, I'll be drinking after
Get the fuck off this show.
I'll be drinking after the show.
Thank you. I've already started.
Bad influence. Let's start all of us.
I'll drink after the show. I got a nice I got a nice box of red cooling right now. So,
well, it's interesting that they're doing this because, his new position could be kind of construed more oriented towards the VTT.
Yeah, I think it's taking him away from the hands-on of the books because the books are no longer the focus.
Right.
You know, we've discussed this before, and I saw a comment, I guess, on one of Joe's videos, and Joe shared it to a few of us, and the comment was interesting because the commenter made a point that WOTC's current releases are generally player focused. Even the adventures are player focused with new classes and new stuff that players are going to want to get. And it's something that those of us that are old school, we expected all these things either aimed at the players or aimed at the GM, but they weren't intermingled. You weren't supposed to participate on the DM stuff if you were a player. But now they want to monetize it so much, but the monetization is moving to the digital world. And maybe Chris is great at his job, and maybe there's a de-emphasis on creating quality product for tabletop gamers, and it's going to be creating profitable product on the VTT.
Well, David Floor says he gets job listing emails from WOTC almost daily. They're looking for a game designer, D&D. David, is that a game designer for programming or for print media, or do you not know?
I doubt it's print media.
I doubt that they even state it. If they're not stating it, I would guess that it's a. Remember, they're seeing the pen and paper game and the VTT as interchangeable. So if they make up some new rules, a new class, it's theoretically going to work in both environments.
Yeah.
But they're going to want to monetize it mostly on the VTT. Now, here's a question I'm going to throw out. Does anybody here think that the VTT will release with the Monster Manual in 2025?
Possible.
I think they're going to. Go ahead, Glenn.
No, I'm just saying it's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, but to me, it would make sense that if this is their push, they're going to want to get it out as early as possible in 2025 that they can. David says, we're seeking a game designer to work with our design team to create Dungeons & Dragons products. In this role, you'll help build the future of D&D by developing material for upcoming products.
Ooh, that is nice and vague.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Even they do it. I'm thinking that the VTT, if they don't push it out by the time the Monster Manual comes out, something's wrong. Something's wrong with it.
I think, and I think that'll be indicative. I agree. I think it'll show that something's wrong on their end.
Yes.
Or if they're just doing it because they dropped the ball like they do with everything else, they're going to kind of screw themselves in a way, because by then people will have the DMG, the Monster Manual, and the PHB, and that'll push a lot of people away from the VTT.
Well, I think, what was it? The Monster Manual comes out next?
Yeah, well, the DMG comes out in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
Never mind.
And then the Monster Manual comes out in 2025, which is great for a 50th anniversary 2024 release when one of your core products comes out in year 51.
Isn't that freaking crazy?
Well, we all listen. I talked to a CFO, a chief financial officer, about that, and he was like, and I've talked to him about these layoffs or downsizing, because that's a position which is very influential in these events.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the release schedule is because they want to hit 3 separate quarters, and ideally 2 separate calendar years. They're really stretching the bump. Mm-hmm. He goes, so you want it to look good. He goes, more quarters that you don't have to answer for if you're building in the. But he goes, but secondly, he goes, laying off people. He goes, even if you're rehiring new people to do a similar function under a different title is key. He goes, you can save money on salary.
Well,
the longer people are tenured, the greater the salary, they tend to accumulate. They do okay. They do well. They get performance raises. But you bring somebody back in, you generally bring them in near the basement.
But see, Wampler just mirrors that. Jim Wampler says the classic corporate way to monetize employees is to fire veteran staff and replace them with young new hires from the gig company.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And I talked to a CFO of a sizable tech company, and that was and it wasn't like it was insight where I go, I should have had a V8. It was kind of like, well, that's kind of obvious when you talk about it like that.
But see, that's the thing that my wife's old school did. My wife grew up in a town called Bellevue, graduated from MSU, went to work right there. She worked there for almost 20 years. They brought a new superintendent in, and he purposely started targeting all the veteran teachers.
Yep.
All of them. And basically either got him to quit or he figured reasons to fire him. Like he took my wife, who did nothing but kindergarten and GSRP. In fact, she was the director of the GSRP program. And he, like 2 weeks before she was supposed to go back to school over the summer, said, I'm switching you to 5th grade. And my wife was like, I've never taught it. I don't know what the curriculum is, anything. Second day, he came in and evaluated her. Did a walk-in, stand-up evaluation for an hour with her and gave her a bad evaluation. My wife went, see ya, I'm out of here.
Yeah. That's constructive firing.
Oh, absolutely. And so they lost, in fact, my wife's current district, who they pay well, they treat their teachers excellent. They've gobbled up, I think Tina said the other day, 6 or 8 of the teachers from my wife's old school are working there.
Nice.
They want the experienced teachers.
So I'd like to bring up a point on these layoffs, these firings from the social media, because I've been kind of following something in social media that WOTC is approaching certain influencers like Ginny D and Bob Worldbuilder and saying, hey, would you like a couple free copies, a digital copy and a hard copy of the new DMG? And because Bob Worldbuilder said, thanks, but no thanks, I don't need it. I know the rules and, perfectly happy with what I'm doing. And, so I'm wondering if they're thinking that they can leverage influencers like on YouTube, like Ginny D or Bob Worldbuilder or the Dungeon Dudes or any number of people, and offer them a little something and figure, we'll get some free publicity out of this. We don't need a social media team.
Sure they do. Absolutely.
Well, I know they need it, but I'm thinking that's what they're thinking is
they can bribe. And listen, I've been accused of, you only cover stories for the drama and the clickbait to make amazing amounts of money. And I will show anybody who wants to look at the money.
I'd like to see your money. I don't see any of it.
I know you don't. It's not enough to share around. An average month of YouTube, and remember, I don't take sponsorships. I don't do paid advertising other than what YouTube runs. And a good month, I make over 100. Average month is probably 80.
By the way, your tabletop gaming with Wolf Phototech is here. It is the Three Blind Mice show. Welcome to the channel, by the way. How's kissing Lanasa's ass doing for you?
Yeah, dude.
You need some toilet paper for that, buddy?
I don't think that's Lanasa's ass he's got his mouth on.
Yeah, probably not.
Dude.
Okay, he swallows.
Damn it, you took my line away from me.
Eric, we need Glenn on here every week. You're hired, Glenn. We need you on here.
Damn it. Wolf tone or wolf scat. Listen, I really appreciate that somebody is tone deaf, and you know what? There's a lot of things I'd like to say about you, but if I say it about you, I'm going to insult people who have a lot of your failures, and it's not their fault. It's your fault. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
So I'll be nice by ignoring you.
Thias makes a good point. Says, to be fair, there are 4 people, not 3. But Thias, you don't understand something. The idiot can't count. So we forgive him on that.
Yeah, he might not even be watching. He might have it might just be like,
Got a bot doing this?
yeah.
Scott, he's not really a troll. He's a legitimate YouTuber. And what he does is he gets a copy of everything TSR gets and makes sure he gets a 5-star review of it and praises Justin Lanasa for his technical game design and prowess.
But then he has problem opening the pages up afterwards because they get sticky and stuck together.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You go to hell for doing stuff like that.
We welcome everybody here.
Yeah.
Well,
except for one troll.
Listen, our minimum standards are a little bit, not much further than here, breathe on this piece of glass. Oh, wow. All right. You're alive. All right. We'll let you. You can disagree with us.
Sure.
We have no problem with that. But when you come here with one intention, and that's to stir the shit in the privy, we just ask you at least be the one that climbs into the privy. If you don't know what a privy is, it's like a rent-a-john, but the old time. The rent-a-john keeps all that wonderful stuff for you. So when you climb in, just stay there and we'll leave you for a bit.
That's right. And Fugly's right. We like Fugly's a good troll to have. Fugly, thank you. Oh. Well, you know what? It's interesting that Wolfpatch comes in here and we do not have our regular, which is surprising.
Wolfpatch has not been active for a long time.
Yes, very true. But I have to point something out about Wolfpatch that I'm very, very proud of. And that is, at least he spells correctly.
Well, you got it. I'll give him points.
Well, it's the evening's young yet. He's not done yet.
Oh, all right. I will withhold my judgment.
Fair enough.
So interesting stuff. I think Tom has a point. I think what WOTC though was doing was WOTC was trying to send materials out to a lot of YouTubers have a level of popularity, in the hopes that they would do stories on their product, because they're still recovering. At least I think to somewhat extent from the OGL scandal. Would you guys agree with that, or do you think they're well beyond that?
No, that you know what, that is kind of like giving your company herpes. You never fully recover from it, and it always flares up. Wow, actually, it is pretty accurate. It always does flare up when people have, and people want to go, I really want to trust WOTC with this new D&D 2024, but then I remember the OGL scandal and the OGL 2.0 and all that other wonderful stuff, and then I go, really, can I trust them?
No.
So
no, you can't trust them because they've exhibited every aspect of screwing their employees. They sit there and lay people off right before Thanksgiving. Who the hell does that shit?
They're screwing.
I know big companies.
They're screwing their employees. They're screwing over the mom and pop brick and mortar, local game stores. They're screwing over the fans. They're screwing over tried to screw over third-party publishers. And then they screwed up when they put put everything in the Creative Commons, including Strahd, including the Beholder. They are just absolute screw ups.
Mm-hmm. Well, David Floor made a comment about where his company's at. They have a box of merchandise waiting for his company's corporate approval to be distributed. So they're kissing ass.
Yeah,
I mean they're trying to give the zoom and whams out.
Yeah, but you do notice that they're not kissing the ass of probably not Questing Beast or Professor DM or anybody on this screen, because people generally call it as they see it, and none of us are going to go, free shit from WOTC. Oh, let me praise them. No, I'd go through it. Hey, look, DMG has an X card section. What does my D&D need an X card? I'm not doing some kind of adult RPG, am I? Where I need to worry about this stuff, right? This is, or maybe that's their new twist. I don't know.
Well,
But
it's a thing, something they can say is new.
yeah,
Jim Wampler says, well, for one thing, it sure looks like sales on new PHP have been bombing. And then Big Vic says, gamer memories, especially the old guard, is very long. Very true.
yep.
True.
RPG Grandma says, I do not trust them. Amen, RPG Grandma.
And Fugly.
Yep. Free shit is still shit. Yep. And then Jim Wampler says, when the marketing line is, it's been the fastest selling version, it's already a meaningless metric. Day one sales compared to what? That's true. Compared to what? I mean, if they're taking day one sales of the new PHP and they base it off the 5.0 PHP, there's so many factors that can affect that. When did the old PHP get released? Time of year can affect it grossly. If you're releasing a game product in the summer, it's not going to sell as well as if you release it in November.
But what else, and they're leaving this part out too, is compare the sales of the new player's handbook to the sales of the 3 core books that release at the same time. Okay? Because listen, money is finite. Not everybody has the ability to buy everything at once. So if you were buying 2 or 3 of the books, everything got released back then, but now everybody's going out to buy the one book if you're a 5e player. But WOTC has already told you can't mix and match the books. So your player's handbook, according to WOTC, not according to Tenkar or Don, Glenn or Tom, none of these talking heads on the screen. According to WOTC, you cannot mix the core books. It's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters.
But they said it, didn't they? But maybe I'm wrong. But if I heard right, they at first claimed they were going to be compatible.
Backward.
Well, all right. So here's
Again,
here is how that works. Okay, you can play. And this is I'm not quoting verbatim, but it is a quote. You can play your 2014 D&D character with the 2024 core books in the same campaign, but you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to play that 2014 character. You'd want to use the 2024 rules and update that character. Well, why is that? Well, the reason being, and they didn't come out and say it, is because the power level, if 5 went to 10, 24 5.5 goes to 11, maybe 12. All right? Spinal Tap reference. If you don't know it, sorry, go fuck yourself. You don't belong in the stream. But Wolf Scat, you might want to look that reference up, all right?
I think he's still staring at the screen in disbelief that we said that to him. He's probably just stunned.
They called me Wolf Scat. What? Is they telling me to go to run away? No.
Either that or he's probably still having his diaper changed.
Yeah, get the scat out of your diaper, dude. Get the scat out of your diaper.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's probably going to get it out of his head.
Oh, that's why he takes it off.
But that's the thing. They're not they're comparing apples to oranges, but the situation wasn't the same when 2014 D&D released compared to 2024.
RPG Grandma's right. I think this is for mistakes all being repeated.
Sounds
Sounds like it.
like
but she also made another point earlier on in the chat. She referenced unit sales versus digital and print. Are they combining them? That's what I think when they said this is the best ever selling game or version of the PHP is. They're not going print versus print. They're going 5e print versus digital and print for the new 5.5, 6.0, whatever the hell you want to call it.
And remember, they are taking the lion's share of the sales via direct sales.
Yep.
Pre-order from us. We'll give you all this free tchotchkes. By the way, they're all digital, so they cost us nothing. Digital freebies to buy a physical product is the biggest fuck you're going to get from a company. If WOTC valued you would have bought the player's handbook and you would have gotten, I don't know, you get a free D&D sticker. Stick it on your notebook for school. But no, they didn't do that. We're going to give you a 3D Dragon Mini, the Red Dragon Mini. But guess what? It's only usable in their VTT. So we're going to give you a free piece of nothing, virtual, but you got to subscribe to a virtual VTT to even enjoy it. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, we have somebody new in chat here.
Yep.
Lawanaika on the right path. I discovered this guy today. Like his show, he's a new vlogger out there. And so I was checking out a number of his videos before I went to my job interview.
Nice.
And does minis, and he supports his local game store. So if you happen to, throw the dog a bone, I mean, go give the guy a view and a like. He's just starting out. He's got a low number of subscribers, but I definitely like him. I think he's a good guy.
Well, definitely welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Now Roderick says something, or Rod, excuse me, says something. He says, we are currently playing, I'm going to highlight this thing. He says, we're currently playing a mix of 2014 and 2024 rules in my main group. Some things in new are more powerful, but some 2014 stuff got nerfed, so it seems to all balance out. Now, Rod, you've played the new version, correct? If you have, what is your overall opinion of it? So I'd be interested to see that. And then let's take a look here. Big Vic says, what, no free QR code for VTT crap? Guess it'll be in the monster manual for DMs only. I don't think it'll be that. I think what they're going to do is I think it's just going to be where you can sign up for the VTT. And if you want to buy the DM package, that will probably be a prescription or subscription.
All right.
Probably the DM part, or you can just have a free player account, is what I'm thinking.
But even now, remember, folks, when the 2014 rules were released, it had no OGL, it had no SRD, and many of us gamers in the OSR and beyond, third-party publishers were all like, "Where's the SRD? Where's this OGL?" And WOTC, being tone deaf as ever.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody went, well, you know what? They want the SRD so they can play without buying the rules. And by the way, you can't really run a game with the SRD. You can build a game off it, but you can't run a game off it. So what happens? They make the basic set, which is the most stripped down version of the rules, so you can play 5e without having to buy anything. And you know what? You never heard anybody talk about that, right? It was one of the few PDFs they actually released. But you never hear anybody talk about the basic PDF, the basic rules for D&D. Why? Because that wasn't what people were asking for. They were asking for the damn SRD and an OGL so they could have skilled third-party publishers produce content like Kobold, Frog God Games, and others. But no, they didn't want that. And when we saw what the OGL 2.0 was, no, they wanted these companies to be paying them. So it's almost like the GSL all over again for 4E.
Mm-hmm.
We had to pay a licensing fee. So I don't know what we're going to see with the new OGL. I sincerely doubt that we're going to get the new D&D released under the OGL, or at least if they do, they're going to hold back certain things that they think defines 2024 and keep it from third-party publishers, and they're going to have to figure out their workarounds like they figured out their workarounds with the 5e OGL.
Well, Rod says, he says, yes, I'm playing the 2024, or I'm playing a 2024 Ranger in the group. In my opinion, it's 5e. Some things are a bit harder, some things are not, or some things are a bit better, excuse me. Some are not so much. Weapon mastery is great in concept, but more stuff to manage. Boo, in my opinion, is compatible. So, Rod's basically saying it's pretty much compatible, which then I don't know. I mean, I hate to judge it because I haven't seen it, but
right,
it just sounds like to me, what are they doing besides? What is so special about this new 5.5, whatever the hell you want to call it? If you take the VTT out of it, take the VTT totally out of it, you've got 3 core books. What makes me as a D&D player, let's say I love 5e, what makes me as a 5e lover want to go buy the new thing besides the Apple mindset of I got to have the newest thing?
bigger, better. These are marketing terms, right? Bigger, better, more improved. Your character will be, but will be exceptional. Well, listen. Um, I suspect that there's going to be a schism with 5e players, kind of like there was with 1e and 2e, but I think it's going to be essentially worse than that. Because with 1e and 2e, we didn't know the politics that were going on. We didn't know that 2e came about to get Gary's name off the game and to get stop paying him his commission, his 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 little his silver coin for every book published.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
royalty.
yeah, his tithe. But the reality is that's what happened, and there was a schism. People didn't, but the change in the rules was so minimal after they introduced like things like non-weapon proficiency and specialization. That a lot of us kind of all right, it's a cleanup. But when I heard a lot about the changes in 5e's player's handbook, including certain broken rules like a short rest, effectively now allowing like unlimited healings. There's a spell that the clerics get that basically resets the rest timer. Again, I don't play 5e, but I do read about it, and it seems to me that their playtesting was maybe not as thorough as D&D Next. D&D Next was playtested up the wazoo. I didn't see that happening with 5.5. They were more secretive. They kept it very close to their vest, and I think part of it is because of the extended release. They don't want to have certain aspects of this game leaked to the public before the DMT releases, before the Monster Manual releases, and therefore they had to keep the playtesting numbers to a minimal. And I think we're going to see that. Listen, gamers, we're not necessarily rules lawyers, but have we learned how to break rules? Have we not learned
No,
how
not
to
us.
find certain combinations and go, oh, if I do X and Y, it makes nitroglycerin. I'm going to do, we all do it. It's what good gamers do. Good gamers push the rules. And that's the reason why when you want playtests, you need to do playtests if you're doing some major rules changes of people that are outside of your company and outside your family and friend circle or whatever. You got to get complete strangers who give you will push it and also give you honest feedback, not like a family member going, it was a lot of fun. I think it all works great. Yeah, you know what? I think this is unbalancing here. And it worked out great for my character, but it might not really be good for the game. That's the kind of feedback you want.
Well, Shark mentioned, he said earlier, I saw a video by Greyhawk Grognard. He has a dim view of WOTC and is not thrilled by WOTC's changes to the game itself and the trends about the world of Greyhawk. Well, Joe Block, Greyhawk is his thing.
Mhm.
I mean, that's his thing. I mean, he's probably one of the most single knowledgeable players of the Greyhawk setting, that at least I know.
Yeah.
And money is better spent on his publications than it is spent on working publications, honestly.
Yes. And the thing is he has a dim view of it because, I think a lot of players do, a lot of the older players, because of, their experience since WotC's taken over with the game and such. So, but speaking of Joe Block, I guess we can segue into one more thing.
Right.
And that is Joe Block the other day made an interesting post on Facebook about the Greyhawk trademark being lapsed. It's abandoned. And a lot of people jumped in there. They were tagging Lou Gygax, saying you ought to buy it up and use it. I don't know if you guys did a video. I did a video on it. And I think a lot of people have a lot of misunderstandings about trademarks.
Oh, we know that.
I'm not talking about new TSR.
No. But I have, in this whole thing of TSR and beyond, people do not understand the theory of trademarks or the rule that even if something is not registered, if a registration expires, if it is still an active, treated as if it is valid, because it is.
Plus, they also take a look at, will your use under that trademark create brand confusion for the other company who originally owned it? So even, as an example, that's I think that's why they're using drive-through RPG like they're doing. I think they just want to be able to maintain that stuff in commerce.
Right.
Because all they got to do is have one thing with the TSR logo on it, and they lock that TSR trademark down. All they got to do is have one thing that has Greyhawk on it, and they lock the Greyhawk trademark down. Now, it doesn't mean someone can't go buy them. Eric, you, I, or Tom, or Glenn, we could go buy the Greyhawk trademark, but we wouldn't be able to use it for gaming.
Right. But so wait, are you telling me that essentially WOTC fucked themselves over when they suspended the sales of their PDFs on drive-through for a number of years?
Oh, no, because the thing is, I think it's 7 years. I think it's a 7-year window.
I think they were only gone for like 4 or 5.
Yep. I think it's a 7-year window. Plus, even if they do abandon it, as long as they can show that it would be brand confusion. And, it's like when you look at a trademark, there's a thing called classes. And what a lot of people don't realize is basically what classes are their uses. Like you'll see like board games, tabletop card games, digital programming. Those are classes. So if somebody else wants to buy that trademark, the first thing that the trademark office is going to do, they're going to compare your classes with the old classes. If they mix, the chances of you getting that trademark approved are virtually nil.
Wow. Okay.
Because how I know this is, like I said in my video, I saw the Greyhawk trademark lapse about 1.5 years ago. And I went to my attorney and said, if I bought it, because the Wizards of the Coast lawsuit against Lanasa and company was going, I said, could I use that for something loosely associated with like just modules? And the trademark attorney in Grand Rapids was like, don't touch it. I was like, okay, don't go. I'm not touching it. So
Nope.
Yep. Mr. Miller says, when you look at the Kobold Press Tales of the Valiant, which debuted in July and August, containing the core rulebook, GM Screen, and Monster Vault. So
they put out a whole game, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah, he says they started off with 3 to 4 complete adventure modules, a comprehensive supplement, and a map folio to boot. As of early October, there's a GM's guide, a fresh GM's map folio, and almost 10 complete adventures mounts ready for you. Well, because they're probably doing now does Kobold owns that, don't they?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Kobold's reworking of 5e.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
I wanted to do another OGL.
Well, what's interesting is this got kicked off because of the OGL fiasco, and it may be under. It might not be under the OGL. It may be under the Creative Commons. It may be under the ORC license. But Kobold started this project before the OGL fiasco, and Wolfgang is a very smart businessman, and he knows the people at WOTC. He knows the people at Paizo. He's worked with both. And I don't know if a little birdie whispered what was going on ahead of time, but he had about a 6-month lead on this project.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I certainly always appreciate when a publisher supports their line. If you're going to buy into it and buy the rules and buy the monster manual, you want to be able to get adventures. And as long as they continue to support it, that's I look for that.
Yeah, but their support is going to be based upon community support of them.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a big fan of, support them, buy it, try it out, know.
Yeah. Wolfgang tends to be in front of the curve. Before there was crowdfunding, Wolfgang was doing crowdfunding. He was just doing it directly, and I remember adventure that he initially crowdfunded, but he wanted people to. You paid up front on the idea to come out, and that was before Kickstarter. So, if I'm going to support somebody, that's the type of person that I want to support. You know, that's the kind of company that I want to support. And, the Kobold resource books that are generally system neutral are awesome. I can't say that. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I always appreciate somebody who consistently they crowdfund, they kickstart something, and then they put it out. That's why, you know, my friend Oscar Rios over at Golden Goblin Press, every single one of his Kickstarters they fund, and he kicks them out on time. And you know, I just appreciate that about the guy. That, you know, I'm not that big a fan of Call of Cthulhu material, but I'm a fan of him just because I see the integrity in him.
Right.
Gotcha.
Which, by the way, folks, mentioning Greyhawk is now one of the open license settings that you can write for in the DMs Guild. Remember, the DMs Guild, you get 50% of the sale price, not the 65 or 70 you would get otherwise. However, you can use what would be considered WOTC's designated IP within it. So Greyhawk is now open, likely because the DMG had an early release to certain people. And I guess that early release with Greyhawk in it, they released it. So when I saw it was released, the first person I PM'd was Joe Block. And I know Joe was hesitant initially about working under the DMs Guild, but he's going to find a new audience for his work this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm very happy for him.
And the thing is, we have to understand, yes, we like our old OSR games. We like our early stuff, but there's a new generation of gamers out there too.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've got to, you know, us who design games, I think we have an obligation also to, you know, develop stuff not only that we like, but also that other people like.
When is Tenkar going to publish a hard-charging old-school module? I would buy that in a blink. Well, thank you for the faith in me. I do appreciate it. But, you know, I got to make sure I can top a predecessor like Vince Florio and his amazing work. Before I even step there.
I don't think you're gonna match Cult of Abaddon.
You know, I gotta
it's a high bar.
I gotta at least come you know, what do you call it? That shit you scrape off your teeth. I got to come just a little bit further than Cult of Abaddon. Hey, listen, if you want me to do something like that, reach out to me on social media, reach out to me on email, bug the shit out of me, see what happens.
And reach around on Vince.
No, don't. He doesn't deserve to reach around.
You're right, he don't.
Just say, and besides which, you probably couldn't. Even Glenn, you at 6'6", you could, you know, just your hands would never get around.
Besides,
well, Scott says real quick, and we can probably wrap this up. Scott says, let me go down to let me get to his comment. My apologies. He says, WOTC is used to pulling the rug out from under us at Star Frontiers community that I would be hesitant to do anything with their IP. And then Rod says, I send out digital rewards to backers within a week of funds clearing. Reputation is important to me. Get people what they paid for fast. RPG Grandma says, yep, Scott Mulder. Rob Conley, how you doing, Rob? Thanks for tuning in the show. He says, same style as my Color Majestic Fantasy Realms and Color Wilderness. Okay, real quick. That man right there is another guy who's a good game designer.
Yes,
he is.
Good game product. Rob is excellent. Go buy Bat in the Attic games on Drive-Thru RPG and buy his stuff.
And thank you.
And for Rob, by the way, if you are unsure, which you shouldn't be, Black Marsh is free in PDF. It is amazing. It should be priced at $5 minimum, but it's free. Grab it. You'll see what we're talking about with Rob.
And Rob, thank you for using some of my art.
And by the way, Tom, just so you know, because we're in the Poconos, because we probably got an early start tomorrow, had a busy day today. I'm not doing the Discord hangout until 11 o'clock. I'm not doing it at all.
Gotcha.
So if we go over a few minutes, it's not like I'm going to go, I'm dying. We're good.
This is a good comment right here.
Okay, real quick, I got to say something here. I am not wanting to butcher your first name, so if you want to go ahead and phonetically spell it out for us,
He
I'll be
did
happy to
earlier.
use your name.
He did it earlier, and I swear to God,
Okay.
I already forgot.
Mr. Miller, as I like to call him, says there is
I-
a sweet spot in designing our current audiences while still keeping it fun for vintage games such as ourselves. Agreed, 100%.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
We made Rob blush.
Thank you. I'm going to say
Rob, was it the reach around comment? I'm sorry.
You guys, man, I got to defend Conley about something. You guys give him the biggest shit on your show.
Rob? No. We give the biggest shit to Matt Jackson. All right.
Yeah, there's that.
Matt gets the worst shit. Rob, listen, I love Rob like a brother. I swear to God, I really do. And I treat Rob like family. Except I don't treat Rach like this because she kicked my ass. But I'm just saying, I treat Rob like family.
Let's take a look here.
Rob's on my list.
Here we go.
Every family needs a unusual uncle.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have the you have the phonetic.
Liwanika. Okay, gotcha. Liwanika.
Liwanika.
Gotcha. All right.
He actually says it on his video when he does a video. He actually says it. So
Real quick.
You can hear him pronounce it.
Leonica says an interesting point. He says he's been playing since 83. Okay, shout out to everybody. I've been playing since December of 77. Eric, Tom, or Glenn?
82. No, 80. Excuse me, 80.
Yeah, I'm 80.
Star Frontier.
The DMG had just come out, and I believe Kenny had the one with the red color, for the flypaper or whatever it is you call it. So
you were what?
That was 1980, so I was 13.
81, and I was 23.
That's why your old man Grognard.
77. I was 10 years old.
I was born in 57. I did not get a chance to experience the heyday of D&D.
We got
Mold Bay Basic was my gateway drug into this.
83. Calvin always been playing since 77.
Friend of mine looked through Holmes, but the first one I played was AD&D First Edition.
Gotcha.
There you go.
David Thompson, 80. We got Scott Mulder playing since 82 or since 1980. Oops, let me find him real quick. My apologies.
Grognards represent, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. DM Mark says Holmes, spring of 78.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. And then Manalishi 66 is 70. Wow, 76. I thought I was bad at December of 77. And then Calvinoni says August of 77. So, yeah, see, nice. Most of the people in here are in the pre-83, 84 range, 85.
Yep.
So, right in that nice sweet spot. Jim Wampler says, you've got a whole topic for another show there. Old school gaming is a play style choice, not an era-bound set of tropes. Shadow Dark proves it. Yes, it's
still it.
Yeah.
But Kelsey's rabbi, as it were, was an old school gamer. So she was brought into gaming by somebody of the generation. So, and which is the way it should be, right? You get it's a combination of new school and old school on Shadow Dark, and I think it gets pulled off very well.
Yep.
Nice. I like Shadow Dark a lot.
Yeah.
It's
like having a 57 Chevy, but somehow putting like a Trans Am engine inside of it to keep it going. You're like, well, it's not supposed. It's supposed to growl, not fly. What is it? So it's a little bit different.
You know what I like, so
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of Beck, not Beck me Beck.
Yeah, you bend it like Beck.
Bend it like Beck.
You see that?
I didn't like
Reason
Mold.
why.
I didn't like Moldvay. I admit it. I wasn't a fan of it. You know, I was an AD&D player, or I got into Beckme really heavy, but I really liked the first three
For a
books.
long time, I've been a big rule cyclopedia guy.
Really, kind of like the
Yeah.
compilation and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
I think it handles the Masters rules
Yes.
better than the box set, and it kind of just does the hand wave on the Immortals, like, hey,
Yeah.
you're tired of the characters.
Here's Mystara. Here's the gods. Go. Yeah.
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 But
A
those
lot
maps
better.
are beautiful in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. RPG Grandma makes a point about the frog at the temple. Damn frog ate me in front of that temple. Yep. Alpha Dawn.
1982.
Yep.
I was a sci-fi nerd, and I was hooked.
What's that starship you are?
Agreed.
Well, I've told this before. My first GM, she ran us first edition for about a month or so, and then we jumped into the game she really wanted to play, which was Gamble World.
Oh, nice. I mean, by the way, your first GM
Have a good
was
night.
a woman.
Yes, my first GM was a woman.
So for those that think there weren't women in gaming like until like the 2000s,
Okay, see that's another thing. That's total BS, because one of my in fact, my original gaming group, and it's funny how I can't tell you what I had for dinner yesterday, but I can tell you the names of the first group. It was myself, Lance McGraw, Mark Bosquet, and Carolyn Buggert. That was my first group of people that we played regularly. Four kids, and I still have no fucking clue what I had for dinner
Were
yesterday.
you the GM?
Actually, no, I was not. Lance was the GM.
What was the first game you GM'd?
What was the first game I GM'd?
Yeah.
The first game I GM'd was AD&D. It was I played actually for about a year before I got into being a DM.
Okay.
I love being a player.
Okay.
In fact, when I got the set from for Christmas by my mom, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like an art book set, and I gave it to my buddy Lance, and he took it to school. He borrowed it and then came back like a day later and said, "Holy shit, this is a game, dude. This is not." And I was like, and he's like, no, you can like cast spells and fight goblins. I was like, what?
what? But it comes with a crayon.
Yeah, with a bunch of dice, weird dice.
Yeah.
And that Friday night, he came over, spent the night, and it was just me and him. We played a 1-on-1 game, and I was just like,
Mind blown.
True confession, I didn't get into GMing until 2E.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was in there about a year, and I just decided one time to do it. But the funny thing is, I never got modules as a kid. My mom thought they were so expensive.
Mhm.
So I had to make up my own adventures.
Six,
And I
seven.
had to play 3E for about 3 years before I decided it was shite. It's D&D for bureaucrats, for pencil pushers.
Yeah.
I really don't care how many goblins have saves.
Yeah, I was hooked. I mean,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I can understand it because you got to figure back in I hate to say the word back in the day, but circa 1977, D&D was still pretty niche, and our idea was, we were just getting into like Pong on TV.
Mhm.
That was a big deal, and then we were playing games like Risk and Monopoly and games like that. We were playing stuff by like Stalingrad, tabletop wargaming.
And chess.
Yep.
Here's something that I get flack for to this day. After I moved to San Jose, I got in a group. I spent 12 years playing Champions.
Oh,
There you go.
that's an old one.
That's
There
an
you
old
go.
With an occasional 1E and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Gather up the D6.
There's a good comment here from RPG Grandma. She says, "I tripped over some anti-women dudes on the net, but I haven't met any face to face." And I think that's so true because it's keyboard warriors
Oh yeah.
talk crap.
They
And
do.
if these people showed up at a convention, they would tuck tail between their legs and keep their mouths shut.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Yep. Rob is a Champions fan.
Good for him. 4th edition Big Blue Book. Yeah.
was
I tried to run it for my grandsons about 5 years ago. I couldn't do it. I was exhausted.
Mhm. See, I think that's the sad part about it is a lot of people have so many misconceptions nowadays about what gaming was.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually think that we like drag women around by their hair, from cave to cave from gaming. I mean, it's like,
I still have my rock character sheet that I carved myself. Yeah.
yeah. They don't realize how, in fact, I think if anything, gaming back then was more inclusive and welcoming and fun than it is today. Because I didn't have, we never talked politics. We never brought up.
No.
I mean,
if
it was
somebody
like,
wanted to play, you were happy to have them play.
yeah, that was the thing about it, though. Like, I remember the first kid that came in from our school to our group. His name was Tony, but he was Mexican, and he wanted us to call him Taco. That was his nickname. He didn't want to be called Tony. You call a Mexican player today Taco at the table, it's going to be like PC overload, nuclear bomb, the mushroom cloud off the top of the head. This kid was like, "Don't call me Tony."
Well, but that's you could do it. I mean, if the guy says this is what you're going to call me, that's fine. I mean, I went to school with a kid who was from the inner city, and he had a certain color skin. And he went off one night on this because the new thing was people of color, and he was like, "You're black, get over it," because he was black. And I mean, he just went off one night on that, and I was like, "I'm not saying any of this," but he could say it, and it was funny to listen to him. He should have had a stand-up routine in a comedy club. He was absolutely hysterical.
Yep. Well, the K5K says a female gamer was a rare and precious player back in the dark ages of the 80s. You did not act like jerks around them. You wanted them to play.
Right.
Well, they weren't rare in my area, but the whole point was, and you make a good point though in your last part of that comment, is with any player, you never were a jerk because D&D players were so hard to find.
That's right.
And want to play regularly and to really get into it. And then we ended up getting a kid who was on the high school football team that played with us. And he had a requirement, though. We could not let anybody in school know that he played with us. Hey, we didn't care. You know what? He was an asshole to you in school. He was a total freaking jerk in school. But at the table, man, he was cool as hell.
Yeah, I don't care if you're a Martian as long as you can roll dice.
Yep, his name was Charles Bostic. Charles, if you see this video, you were a real dickhead in school, but you were a good player behind the scene. It's just it's just so many misconceptions about what we all experienced, and it's just a real shame that younger players, not even that. It's just a shame. I think social media is a large part of it because, like Tom said earlier, a lot of keyboard warriors, but I don't think the politics, at least as I remember it, in my area, my groups, we didn't have any politics, as a matter of fact.
To go back to the woman thing, I don't think this would fly today, but it seems like I'd gone to many cons in California, and every single one of the talks, one of the seminars was women in gaming. I don't think they resolved anything, but they always had that. I don't think that would fly today.
But Glenn, I said this a while back in another video. I said for anybody today modern that thinks that girls were not part of D&D clubs and such, I can prove them wrong in one way. Go to Google and type in 1980s Dungeons and Dragons school clubs and go to images. Almost every single club, you'll see 2, 3, 4, 5 girls in there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I did that in the old school TSR group, and that's how I got banned from that group.
Well, part of the problem is that you get people who want to they want to be tribal and it's the same with politics. We're voting for so and so. We're voting for so and so. They want to separate people. And so they'll make they'll make a whole statement about how things were in the past. They don't really know. But they just caused this trouble. And
Yeah.
look, you weren't there, you don't know, so shut up.
Mhm.
I would have loved to have had girls in our group, but we didn't. But our group was, just a bunch of guys from the neighborhood, and we'd all spend the night at, one guy's house, and we'd play D&D to 3 a.m, and whoever fell asleep first had his hand put in a pot of warm water.
I also seem to remember there was a lot more gatekeeping back then, because you had these guys who had played and played and played, and I've had, I want to learn D&D. Are you a such and such? Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to play this. You don't want to play this. They actively discourage it. It was stupid.
Well, I think you have gatekeeping anywhere.
Yeah.
Just like in school, like with D&D clubs.
Mm-hmm.
My school had one club run by an art teacher named Mr. Sepich.
Uh-huh.
And he used to run D&D when the whole satanic panic thing hit, and they kind of said you can't do it at school anymore. He started doing it at his house. So we had 2 groups. We had my home group, and then we had Sepich's group. But the thing with Sepich's group is, in order to play in his group, he never let anybody new in. It only was the status quo. And as people started leaving, the group kind of dwindled down, eventually went away. And I always thought that was dumb. But now as an adult, I think I know why. Is because I think that he didn't want to let parents know that he was doing it.
Right.
And it seems like if you were a new player playing with an experienced GM, they will make it. I mean, yes, okay, 1E is deadly. I get that, okay, and I can deal with it. But these guys will make it even harder. I remember in a 1E group I played, never buy horses, never get horses, because the first time you stop for camp, somebody's going to steal them, and you're going to be on foot anyway, and there's a bunch of gold lost. He would do that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Enough that you want to throttle them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Exactly. I think you're right, Glenn. Just like, don't name your horse.
Mm-hmm.
Never name the horse. Never name the horse.
Never name a horse. Never name a dog.
Yep.
Never bring a dog into B1 when Bad Mike is GMing.
I've heard the story.
Yep. Do not name your familiar.
Hey, Liz had the dog live.
Whoever bought a war dog in AD&D? I had 2.
Ooh.
Nope. Never.
No.
I'm more of a purist when it comes to D&D. I mean, I'm not into. I think the most exotic I get is I might go fighter magic user as a class, but I'm not into the exotic shit, And I'll tell you what, come about 8th or 9th level, I'll give my player up and start over.
Speaking of exotic, I was running a Hyperborea game for a while, and my grandson, that game has a 12-level cap. And everybody got to 10th level, and then I stopped it. He's never forgiven me because he wanted to go to 12th level to get that Pegasus so I could do flying lance attacks.
There you go.
Crazy.
Let's see here. Got the comments, but I just think that it's. I'm just not into the modern gaming. I just really am not. And
and that's a matter of taste. I don't ascribe to the bad, wrong, fun
Right.
deal, but just because you like something doesn't mean that I'm going to like what you like. And,
exactly.
And
play what you like.
Play what you like, but by the same token, I'm not obligated to bring people into my group and then have change the group dynamics to accommodate you. And I think that is a part of the. We never changed for a new player. When I was a kid, when I was a teen, in my 20s, we certainly, as an adult, using Roll20, I made the rule for the group because I was the de facto leader. I was like, listen, you want to bring somebody in, mention who it is, they get a 2-session tryout. And if anybody says no after those 2 sessions, they're gone.
Or if they start acting too much like a fucking asshole.
Right. But But this way, any one person can say no, they don't fit. I go, you don't need to give a reason.
Yeah.
Because you know what? The moment you say they don't fit, other people are going to go, oh, I was just trying to be nice, which is fine. Now, but here's the thing: is that when you institute a rule like that, people think about it before they bring somebody into the group, because it also means that their reputation's on the line. Hey, you say this guy's a good person. How well do you know them?
Well, all of these demands that I come into the group and now you got to change to accommodate me. Right. I kind of compare that to you go to live in Russia and you expect everybody's got to speak English for you.
Yeah.
No, you're in a foreign country. You need to learn Russian. That's how it works. You're going to live there. You need to learn Russian.
Yeah, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Exactly. And so I go into a new group. I'm not, hey, you don't have to accommodate me. I'm here trying to fit in with you, and I need to figure out this group.
That's right.
That's how I look at it. But I know the trend is different these days, where I'm triggered because I need an X card and I'm so offended.
You have to, today, in general, if you're playing 5 by the new social norms, you got to conform to the least common denominator, right? You got to conform to the person with the most issues, as opposed to saying to the person with the issues, hey, step up game, step up, be a bit more mature, join the rest of us. Everybody else has to somehow, oh, geez, all right, well, we can't have snakes, undead, tentacles, God, no fire, all these forbidden topics because somebody can't handle it.
It's just good sense.
Right.
Really.
Find a group that fits you. Don't try to make a group fit you. Find a group that you fit with.
Yes.
And with the internet, it's so much easier because you don't have to.
Online games are a great way of trying out people.
Yes.
So you have online and face-to-face. Play a couple of sessions with a group online. See if they fit. And if they fit,
or a convention. Eric and I played at conventions. I love sitting in Eric's games.
Yeah, they're fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Jim Wampler makes a really good point here. Jim says it's not hard to understand. The flip side of if you're having fun, you're doing it right is.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think there's where it's at. You're having fun.
Wisdom Wampler.
Yeah, and if I come into your game group, I conform to you. You don't conform to me.
And if I don't like it, I just leave.
Yeah, it's a free market economy in gaming, man. You don't like the DM, don't game with the DM. Just like I get questions sometimes. People go, "What do you do if you run into an asshole DM?" Well, if they don't stop, don't play with them. Without players, don't play the game.
Yeah, I stuck it out through 2.5 campaigns of 3.5, and then I said, "Guys, I can't do it anymore." And they were so pissed at me. I'm like, "No, you shouldn't. You don't need to change for me.
Right?
I'm gonna step out."
There's a trigger survey in the new DMG.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's why I mentioned the X card thing. There's videos on it. I haven't seen them because I'm up in the Poconos, but
But by the way, I bounced my grandson from my game. I had 2 grandsons. The older one took to it like a fish out of water. He's the best player ever had. The other one session, sitting there playing with his phone, doing nothing, out.
Yeah.
Total disinterest.
But going back to Don's comment about DMs, all right. I've heard it said, and I totally disagree with it. Well, a bad RPG session or a bad campaign is better than no campaign at all. Bullshit.
Oh, I disagree with that also.
Yeah.
Bullshit. There's a lot more entertaining, fun, productive things I can do with a 3, 4, 5 hour block of my time than to play with a bunch of any group where I am not getting enjoyment out of it. If I'm not getting enjoyment out of it, why the fuck am I there? Yeah. And that happened with an online group I was in. The player dynamics changed with some players joining and some players. It wasn't necessarily a bad group. but it was one I was not getting any fun out of. And if I'm not getting enjoyment out of, honestly, I was like, I'd rather spend a night with my wife watching TV. At the time, we were watching a lot of on-demand movies. I'm having a lot more enjoyment out of that than a bad session of D&D. So take a break.
Yeah, it's like, I'll play, but I have a giant Blu-ray collection over here. I would rather sit down and watch if you're not going to do it right.
You do have a big Blu-ray collection.
Oh, Bad Mike's been talking again.
Well, I'll tell you, I just think that, but on the flip side, if you have good players and a good DM, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about an entertaining evening. And that's the magic of D&D, I think. Fugly says triggers are things that people need to deal with outside the game before they come to the table. Shark says, oh my God, right. 10-car safety tools, trigger surveys, WTF, right? Absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable. Say no to all the BS.
Well,
You ever have
the one set of safety tools I like, the one set of X cards that I like is Venger Satanis's X cards.
Oh, God.
So if there's sleaze in the game, you can play the sleaze card. That means more sleaze, please. Or if there's Gonzo in the game, you play the Gonzo card. More Gonzo, please. Which was just his way of kind of piggybacking the whole.
Yeah.
It was a marketing ploy by him, and I just thought it was.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Well, it's unbelievable. I agree. I mean, I just think that now I'm going to, after this video, I'm going to start looking up this survey, this trigger survey in the DMG. I got to see what this thing's about.
Well, from what I understand, it's just a bunch of questions that you're kind of, I guess, supposed to ask your players before you start a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me if I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons with a player and they have something against death, I can't use vampires, undead, zombies.
I can't have violence. I can't have violence in my game. I can have romance and baristas. More baristas, please.
Sure, okay. No, I better not say that, because if I say that, I'll be canceled.
Coffee pot in the middle of the game, constantly going.
See, you got to be careful. If you tell me as a DM that you don't like violence, but you like romance, okay. Okay.
I'm tapping out. This is done. I'm tapping out before you even start that fucking campaign.
Romance might be like, huh?
No, can't, man. Can't.
Are we rolling dice yet?
We could do it. We could do a new module called Satine Phoenix.
Ooh.
It's a game idea for Blazing Arcana.
Well, see, now, if we're going to do that, we'd have to
written by Ken Whitman.
Oh, no. You have to use the third edition.
Her name is Phoenix. She just creates herself from the
right. Well, you got to use the third edition printing of Swords and Wizardry Complete with the burning vagina cover.
Mm-hmm. The famous burning vagina.
Yes. And by the way, that was dubbed by my very beautiful wife, who took one look at it and goes, "Why is there a vagina on fire on this cover?" And I went, "Oh my God. Once you see it, you can't unsee it."
At least it didn't talk to you.
It's the only. It's the only OSR product that at a convention, I actually had two people I tried to give free copies to go, I can't rightfully take that from you.
Steve Fowler has a game idea, product idea.
I helped kickstart it, and I gave my copy to Gage.
Yeah, there you go.
And I went out and bought the regular blue copy.
Oh,
RPG
because
Grimace.
I saw what happened afterwards.
RPG Grimace says, with a coworker telling me I couldn't say dead, die, killed, etc., only transitioned, I told him no. Absolutely.
That's Facebook talk.
Yeah, that's
you can't say dead. You can't say deaded. You can't say killed. No. They were removed from this plane of existence.
86th.
Yeah.
Well, I just think that, oh God, people need to go back and watch some 70s movies, really.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Shaq, a classic. Blackula, if you like good quality 70s classic 70s horror.
I was thinking more just Dirty Harry, honestly.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
I don't suppose we can throw Dolomite in there, can we?
Dolomite.
Oh, well, gentlemen, we're at an hour and a half.
All right.
And this conversation is slowly going a little bit more degrading down.
Oh,
it's
It's the
starting
nature of the beast.
no,
we
that's
will
my
find
fault.
that lowest common denominator if we have to kill
And
it.
listen,
Well, I figure-
there's nothing. You get Bad Mike and me in there, it'll go for 3.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Glenn, Eric, Tom, thank you.
Awesome
Anytime.
time.
Yep. Everybody in the chat, thank you very much. We've had over 60 people at one time in the chat.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Or
Awesome.
viewers.
That's awesome.
Yes. And please, everybody, go to our respective channels, hit like and subscribe, help us out, help us grow our channels. Thank you for all the comments and everything. We will be back next Wednesday with more shenanigans.
Next
And,
Thursday.
What's that?
Next Thursday.
Yes.
You said Wednesday.
Did I say Wednesday?
Yes.
Sorry, Thursday.
Here.
Next Thursday.
It's Tom, because Tom thought today was Wednesday initially.
Yeah, I know.
I thought today was Wednesday for a minute.
See? So, listen, as Hammy would say, just blame Tom.
Yep. And as Jim Wamper so kindly says, don't forget to like and subscribe and tip your DM on the way out the door. Everybody,
Yep.
please have a good night. Happy gaming, and we'll see you guys next